Welcome to Afric Folktales TV, where real stories meet deep lessons, echoes of our past, whispers for future. Tonight's tale is about Yemisi, a young girl whose curiosity burned brighter than most stars, leading her through change. Through joy, pain, discovery, and change, Yemisi's journey unfolds, a must-watch for parents, rich with lessons to share. Stay close, for this story is long, full of surprises, secrets, and unexpected turns. Pause before you skip ahead. Every moment brings a surprise, and Yemisi's next move shifts the world around her, perhaps the lesson you need. Yemisi was 9 years old, living in a grand mansion in Banana Island, Lagos, with her mother and father. Her mother, Bisola, owned a huge oil firm, while her father, Femi, was a skilled but modest automobile engineer. Living with them were 2 maids, Joy and Akpan. They also had a younger brother, David, who enjoyed playing around the mansion while they adhered to the rules. Due to her past experiences, Bisola had strict rules, especially, never raise hands or voice on my children. I want to train them the way I like, but her children became arrogant and disrespectful to those around them. They don't listen to people's advice, sometimes disrespecting their father. Bisola remains steadfast in her parenting. Sometimes their father intervenes, but Bisola likes them no matter what. Femi didn't always agree with the rules, but had conceded, for Bisola funded their lifestyle and home comforts. From early on, Yemisi began watching her parents' behaviors closely. She noted how arguments would erupt. She noticed how her father's gentle voice turned sharp, only to be cut off by her mother. Yemisi observed how boundaries shifted depending on who held the power that day during these arguments. One afternoon, Bisola and Femi retired into their bedroom in a happy mood, and Yemisi tiptoed closer. She pressed herself to the keyhole, and what she saw changed something within her forever. Joy, coming out of the kitchen, caught her back, peeping. "What are you doing, child?" she hissed. Yemisi froze, heart pounding. She pulled away. Minutes later, Bisola emerged with her light, revealing shorts and asked what was happening. Joy spilled. "She was peeping, Mama." Bisola frowned, but then turned toward Joy. Femi came out sharply, grabbed Yemisi's hand, and now the fight escalated. Bisola cried betrayal. How could Femi hurt their daughter after all her warnings? Femi claimed it was his duty. Yemisi cried. David trembled. Tension in the air as parents' conflict wove through the fibers of their home. At that moment, something awakened in Yemisi, a seed of anger, a question too big for a 9-year-old. When someone you love hurts you, are they still the one you trust? Questions lingered heavy in the quiet room. In the heart of chaos, a glimmer of resolve emerged. Trust is fragile, yet precious in this tangled web of love. My people, it is now mirrors and shadows. Yemisi's world split in two, her mother's view and hidden truth. At breakfast, she heard Bisola preach to Joy and Akpan about loyalty and obedience, but Yemisi knew better. At school, classmates yelled and punished. Yemisi saw the volatile loyalty her mother preached with different eyes. She viewed chaos as a part of learning, conflicts, laughter, grudges, a reflection of what she saw at home. As she stepped out, Yemisi felt the weight of her world, mirroring her mother's teachings against troubling truths. By age 11, Yemisi began sneaking movies meant for older teens, curious about adult motives behind them. Joy and Akpan sometimes noticed, hesitant to warn Bisola, afraid she'd see it as betrayal or tell Femi. One evening, Femi came home early. He found Yemisi and David with glowing laptop screens. Tense silence. Yemisi defended, "But Mummy watches with us sometimes." Femi's argument faltered. It was true, but was it permission? Femi's hesitation showed he was unsure, caught between trusting Yemisi and feeling the need to protect her. Bisola stormed in, denial on her lips. Yemisi's heart raced, sensing the storm brewing between them. Yemisi, tears in her eyes, sensed her mother's words were just reflections, masking deeper insecurities beneath. Yemisi, now a teenager, has been enrolled in a boarding school, facing unknown challenges and experiences ahead. The hallway buzzes with chatter, students laughing while Yemisi clutches her books, feeling isolated and uncertain. In class, the teacher explains a lesson, but Yemisi daydreams, distracted by worries about fitting in with her peers. During lunch outside, Yemisi watches students forming friendships, hoping to connect, but feeling the weight of her solitude. Isolated in this boarding school, Yemisi felt trapped, a sentence imposed by her mother's quest for a better life. For Femi, sending Yemisi here was not cruelty, but an attempt at instilling structure and discipline in her life. Caught between her parents' intentions and her desires, Yemisi felt her youth slipping away, heavy with expectations. At school, Yemisi is a stranger in a strange land. The rules chafe against her spoiled nature. She has no friends, only followers she bribes with gifts from home. Nights wasted on her phone. She spends her nights not on homework, but on her phone, scrolling through her mother's glamorous life. One night, Neka, known for her sharp tongue, confronts Yemisi directly, her voice cutting through the chatter. Neka challenges her, "You think your mother's money makes you special?" The atmosphere thickens with tension. Neka sneers, "But I see you. You are empty, a beautiful shell, nothing inside. Why did this hurt so much?" What was this emptiness Yemisi felt? The words cut deeper than any punishment, leaving her confused inside. During visiting day, Bisola arrives like a queen, laden with designer bags and snacks, radiating confidence. Femi, who came separately, asks her quieter questions. "Are you learning? Are you truly happy here in school?" Yemisi brushes Femi off, lost in her own world, ignoring the genuine questions amidst laughter and chatter. Later, Yemisi overhears her parents arguing near the car. "You are turning her into a monster, Bisola." Femi hisses, his voice low and strained. Bisola's reply is icy. "I am preparing her for a world." It wasn't just about her. It was a battle of two worlds. Yemisi sees the deep crack in her parents' foundation. She had always believed her mother's way was the only way, but her father's words planted a seed of doubt. Was her armor also her cage? A fleeting thought that resonates with her, igniting her journey towards self-discovery. Back at school, Yemisi's behavior escalates as she plans a cruel prank on her shy roommate to feel powerful. Using ideas from inappropriate movies, Yemisi orchestrates a prank on her shy roommate Mira, not realizing the danger. The prank goes horribly wrong, igniting a small fire that triggers alarms and sends students into a panic. The principal calls Bisola and Femi to discuss the severe consequences, suspension, and a hefty bill for damages. Bisola is ready to write the check and blame the school, but Femi stands firm, urging for responsibility. "No," he says, his voice finally carrying a weight Bisola cannot ignore. "She will come home, but there will be no parties, no new phones, no unlimited allowances. She will work in my workshop to understand the value of things." She is dragged from her life of luxury into the gritty, oily reality of her father's automobile workshop. How will the Princess of Banana Island survive in a world of grease and grit? Each challenge shaping her, revealing the inner strength she never knew existed. She begins to thrive in this. The first days in Femi's workshop are a nightmare for Yemisi, assigned to Auntie Grace, the office manager. Auntie Grace hands her a ledger and invoices. Yemisi is rude, but Auntie Grace remains calm, saying, "Respect does." One afternoon, Chidi, the young apprentice, fixes a complex engine problem that had stumped everyone successfully. Femi praises him, face beaming proudly. Yemisi watches, realizing praise is earned not by spending, but by doing. Yemisi reflects, realizing her father never praised her because she had never truly done anything worthy of it. Auntie Grace sees the look on Yemisi's face. Later, she sits with her and speaks softly about trees and roots. "A tree with deep roots laughs at the storm. Your mother gave you beautiful branches," Auntie Grace explains gently. Auntie Grace continues, "But your father is trying to give you roots, which will save you in a drought." A crisis occurs when Femi's loyal client brings in a rare, classic car for crucial restoration. Time is tight. Days of hard work fail when a critical part breaks. The client arrives in 2 hours, and all hope seems lost. Yemisi, quietly observing, remembers a luxury marketplace her mother used, accessible only to the wealthy. Swallowing her pride, she calls Bisola, hoping her knowledge can help find and buy the part quickly. The part arrives just in time with a courier, saving the car, bringing a sense of relief to Yemisi. Femi looks at his daughter not as a problem, but as a partner, sensing new intelligence in her. At that moment, Bisola arrives, having rushed over to join her family, filled with anticipation. She sees her husband's thoughtful expression and her daughter's genuine smile, full of joy and grace. For the first time, she sees Yemisi not as a doll, but as a little girl who solved a problem. For the first time, she views Yemisi as more than a doll, seeing her as a person solving a real problem. That night, Yemisi snuck out to the beach, a sense of adventure sparking in her eyes as she crept silently. Stretching before her, waves crashing rhythmically, Yemisi felt the call of adventure deep in her heart, thrilling. The waves crashed playfully against the shore, the moonlight flickered across the water, enchanting and dreamy. With a wide smile, Yemisi twirled around, letting the wind carry her laughter as waves crashed in perfect harmony. Under the vast sky, Yemisi whispered her dreams to the stars, feeling alive as the waves echoed her desires. She wonders, who am I? What do I want? Questioning herself as she looks out over the shimmering waves. She thinks of David, meek and hiding, her mother, strong and feared, her father, kind yet silenced. Carried away in her imagination, she heard whispers among the palms. Find the truth that lives between. Inspired, she returned home with new resolve. She would unearth the secrets hidden in her heart. First, she sat with Joy, who admired Bisola's fire, but suffered under its heat. Joy confessed, Bisola feels unlovable. Joy admitted Bisola craves admiration and control, revealing her past abandonment by someone she loved deeply. Yemisi's eyes widened. The proud oil mogul mother had a broken heart, hidden behind her facade of success. Next, Yemisi confronted Akpan, who explained, Femi once tried to speak, but was silenced too often. Femi was often yelled at by Bisola, making him retreat behind his silence, hiding his true feelings. Slowly, their marriage transformed, a house built on countless untold hurts, unanswered questions. Yemisi realized her home chaos stemmed not just from her mischief, but also from love unexpressed and wounds unhealed. Fears of showing weakness weighed heavily on her, as love remained unspoken, leaving scars that deepened over time. My people, what's next? Is it reckoning? Armed with knowledge, Yemisi decided to change the story. She approached her father first. One afternoon she sat with Femi in his study, seeking answers to her questions. Softly, without accusation, she asked, Why do you allow Mummy to always tell you what you should do? Femi, stunned, tears gathering, whispered yes, because he fears losing the woman he loves and peace more than truth. Yemisi felt the weight of his answer, understanding the fragile balance of love and truth in their family. Then she sought her mother. On Saturday morning, Yemisi held her hand. Mummy, she said shakily, you always tell us to never raise your hands, but sometimes your words raise higher than your hands. For hours they talked, about Bisola's childhood, expectations, the pressure of being perfect, the mask she wore. Bisola broke, Yemisi cried. They hugged, feeling the weight of guilt and unspoken truths binding them together. In that moment of vulnerability, they found solace in their embrace, a powerful connection uniting their hearts. You know, my people, healing takes time. Reforms crept in. Femi found courage to speak up more. Bisola learned to listen before ordering. Joy and Akpan were no longer silent servants. They were respected. Treated kindly. Yemisi, now 15, found her passion, writing stories of challenges. Yemisi hosted a gathering at her school, telling her peers, Your home may glitter, but jewels inside matter. She spoke of kindness, respect, truth, under warm, soft lighting as classmates absorbed her heartfelt message. David, inspired by his sister, found confidence. He didn't mimic her loudness. He found his quiet strength. But the journey wasn't smooth. Old habits snapped in at midnight. Arguments returned, louder, sharper, old fears not fully gone. One stormy night the power went out. Femi, Bisola, Yemisi, David, all in the living room by candlelight. Bisola said softly, I remember my own mother, no love letters, no praise, only demands. Yemisi saw, two imperfect adults loving each other despite their scars. And then Yemisi spoke. Mummy, Daddy, can we promise something? When we are angry, we'll stop and breathe. They all nodded. Under candlelight, a promise was made. We'll remember we are family, not opponents. My people, the new dawn. Over the next few years, banana trees bloomed, showcasing growth and understanding. Yemisi matured, wise beyond her years, reflecting respect for her family and wisdom in the new dynamics. As the sun set, unity and love thrived in their family, blooming like the trees surrounding them. At 18, she published a book of interwoven stories, Hers, families and friends. It caught public's attention. Rich homes with hidden tears, strong mothers with secret wounds, fathers afraid to show weakness revealed in her work. Bisola's company began True Homes, Strong Hearts, offering counseling for families, promoting strength through support. Joy and Akpan were promoted, gaining roles of responsibility, not just as servants. Femi dreamed of a youth workshop. Femi started a workshop for youth, rebuilding broken things, cars and relationships, fostering connections among them. What did Yemisi see through the keyhole, and why did it change her forever? What secret lies in Bisola's past that makes her fear being hurt? Could a camera in a child's study be a betrayal or a wake-up call? When you cheat, what are you really hiding? Your fear, your shame, or your unmet love? The choices they make now shape their futures, turning away from naive shadows into complex realities. And so, the spoiled seed, with care and correction, began to grow straight and strong once more. A reminder that love must sometimes be firm to be true, and that the greatest inheritance we can give. Our children is not wealth, but wisdom. Please, my people, if you have ever hid behind perfection, if you have met anger with silence, Yemisi says begin tonight. Thank you for traveling with us through Yemisi's journey, from secret observations, through rage and shame, to truth. Yemisi, overwhelmed by emotions, feels the weight of her experiences, from deep-seated rage to an overwhelming sense of shame. As she writes, truth begins to surface, revealing layers of healing, making her feel lighter with every word. Yemisi shares her newfound strength, inviting others into her tale, where love and respect create a joyful atmosphere. Until next time, may your home be a place where love speaks, respect echoes, and every child's heart finds space.